Hello, before we jump into today's episode, I just want to remind you we are on Patreon. That is patreon.com/some laugh. Sign up for as little as £3 a month and you can get hunters, and I repeat, hunters of benefits there. You get live shows that we've recorded from the Pavilion, from London, from Edinburgh, all of that. We've got a wee behind the scenes documentary. We've got first dibs on live show tickets for stand-up shows that we do. What else do we have, lads?
Well, primarily we have an extra episode every 2 weeks.
That as well.
Forgot about that.
Forgot about that.
That
The
is
main thing.
The main thing that you get.
Yeah.
The three of us,
I thought I was
mailbag
doing well there.
apps.
That was pretty good.
It was
pretty
good. You covered all
Sounded
the-
good, yeah. You just forgot the main thing. Yeah. Join us over there. Thank you to everyone who has. It keeps us ticking over, paying editors and what have. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What have not. I only said that.
And you can also see us doing stand-up live. Stuart, you're on tour.
Yes, in March.
Melrose.
Melrose is the main one, but also Brighton.
Where is Melrose? Have we figured this
in
out
the
yet?
borders.
Okay.
Scottish borders.
Nice.
Selling good, thanks to the people in Melrose.
There you go.
I think about 80% of the population will be there. Yeah, Brighton, Newcastle, Edinburgh and Glasgow. Thank you.
Excellent. I've got a couple of extra shows for Glasgow Comedy Festival in March, doing a UK Ireland tour May and June. And Stevie,
We've got a work in progress. I think it's pretty much sold out. Maybe 2 tickets left, so snatch them while you can.
snatch
lads.
them up.
I've got a whip as well.
There you go.
A few tickets left.
Another one.
More than 2
Um,
though. 8, something like that.
That's all right.
Well, hopefully see the live shows, guys. See you over in the Patreon. Aside from that, enjoy today's episode.
Enjoy.
Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No,
It's
there's going to be some.
some laugh. So we have returning guest Liam Farrelly.
Alright.
Second time you've brought a dog on the record, is that right?
Aye, second time, second
I
dog.
don't remember a
I
dog.
don't
Second
remember
dog.
that dog the
Bella
first
was here the last time. Bella's
Bella
the
wasn't
child
thrashing around like this, Messi.
Very well behaved.
And this is Messi, who's 9 months old and a fucking idiot.
Named
Very
after
excitable.
Lionel.
Aye, Lionel Messi.
Wow.
Good.
Aye, because Tyler, my wife, she wanted to call her Maple, but I was like, I don't want to be shouting Maple. I was like, I prefer like Messi. 'cause it's like,
She wanted to
Surely
shout Messi in a
Messi would have been a better name for a goat.
hey,
Hey-oh,
There you go.
the goat.
she
And
does.
we're on. We're off. But yeah, the listeners and our editor is always very happy when we have a dog
There
or
you
something
go.
that can
Live
make any
animal.
noise. A live animal. Although, yeah, like very well. No barks.
She
so-
doesn't really bark that
Doesn't
much.
bark.
That's
She's
pretty
got
good.
quite a shite bark because she's still a puppy, and because we've got an actual older dog, that one can bark. So I
Right.
think she feels insecure about her bark
Intimidated.
compared.
A shitey wee bark.
Aye, so she doesn't do it much.
Well,
She's
for
a
the
cockapoo.
people watching, they can enjoy it now.
Yeah,
Is a cockapoo, is that right?
yeah, she's a cockapoo.
I done puppy yoga with cockapoo.
Alright. So
How's
There's
this
a-
never come up?
I've spoken about puppy yoga, haven't I?
I don't believe
I
so.
don't think so.
I feel like one of us might fucking
It's-
remember that.
It's news to me.
Aye,
Right, go on.
Is it like goat yoga, which I have done?
I think so. However, the yoga instructor didn't show up, so we just had puppies.
wait, what?
This doesn't sound. Was this like a Groupon thing? Yeah?
It was just
Bunch
called
of stray
puppy
dogs in a
yoga.
row.
This now explains why you never told us it, because it literally never happened.
Well, we went to this. I don't know. Would you call it an old warehouse, probably? And
You tell us you're the person that's went to this thing. I don't fucking know.
how
Warehouse,
you
probably.
say warehouse? Went to a warehouse. It was meant to be puppy yoga. I was there with my wife. She wanted to do it, and I thought puppies looked good. And then they were like, "Oh, by the way, the yoga instructor's running late, so we're just do the puppies now, and you do the yoga later." We're like, "Fine." And then half an hour went by, and she said, "Yoga instructor isn't coming, so so just play with the puppies, and then
Fuck off.
go." And then they said, "We'll give you 50% off the next time you want to come." Though,
Right. So you didn't get a refund?
nah,
That's kind of bullshit, man.
it is. I think we got scammed.
I kind of thought the instructor would have the dogs. Why were the dogs just there?
No, the people who organised it had the dogs. The instructor was separate. But I'm starting to think there is no instructor.
I would-
still.
Yeah, that's a wreck.
Shouldn't say.
Because I was thinking, because when you're calling it puppy yoga, you would think that you're doing yoga while the puppies are there. But it was yoga, and then you get puppies as like a treat after. Is that maybe what it
Yeah.
was?
So I thought it was going to be you're doing yoga, they're jumping on your back.
That's
It's
what
a
I
good
thought it'd be.
laugh. No, apparently you get puppies as a treat. You do the
Right.
yoga, it's half and half. half
You do
an
the
hour
yoga
each.
while
So
you
really
eat a
they've got
puppy.
no correlation.
And they were just like pissing and shitting everywhere and stuff. It was-
Wonderful.
Aye, they did do that.
It's a good laugh. Aye.
Yeah.
It does, because what was it? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory thing, that was in a warehouse as well, was it not?
The Willy Wonka
Aye.
experience.
You know, like,
Charlie and the Chocolate.
is it the Illuminati group or whatever the fuck? They work a house of Illuminati where they run that fucking
Just
puppy
loads of
yoga.
AI generated images of puppies on the wall. But Messi's a showbiz dog, is that not right, Liam?
She's gone for an audition today for a show at the Glasgow Comedy Festival. So
So what kind of show involves dogs at the Glasgow Comedy Festival?
Oh,
This is news to me.
Done.
I have
Much
oh,
like
fuck.
Steve's puppy yoga
do.
experience.
I honestly have no idea. I've just been told to come and bring my dog because it is good PR. So fuck knows what this show is, because I'm also like, she's probably not gonna behave it well enough to be in a show.
Is that what the fucking powers that be at the list are making you do these days? Jumping through yet more hoops.
Messi's number 12 on the list.
Aye.
So she's going to be famous, this dog.
Well, we'll wait and see. I don't have high hopes, if I'm honest with you, but
Can she do tricks and all that?
she'll kind of listen to you sometimes, but like, if there's going to be other
That's not really a
dogs,
trick, just listening to you.
well, it's more than most people do to me. So, but the issue is, if there's other dogs there, Messi doesn't listen, and obviously if it's an audition, I'm assuming there's going to be lots of other dogs, because she'll just want to run off with them. So I'm assuming she's just going to basically ruin the audition for every other dog as well. So
Have you had any briefing on what exactly she's expected to do during
She
this
got any
audition?
lines?
no, not that I'm aware of. I've basically just been told to be there for 2:00, and that will be good PR for the festival and my own show. But
So, and this is a show that features a dog
yeah,
in front of a live audience.
aye. So
Crufts Live.
Never work with children and animals,
That's
though.
what they say.
I'm worried about that show.
We have had a few
Yeah.
dogs on the podcast. We have yet to have a child on, as far as I'm aware.
I've
We
got
should
one of
interview
them
a
as well.
child one week. That'd be great.
I should have brought
I'll
it
bring the child.
Yeah,
Oh,
bring
I
it
know,
in next
fuck.
time.
We could have done both.
We have said if we ever have wins, we'll just have it in the corner and just rock it.
That's news to me.
Maybe that was a car conversation.
I think it might have been actually. Aye. Any chat of Wayne's and Jennings is
We don't
He
darken
just
your
zones
door with
out.
that chat.
The listeners don't want to hear that. you did mention, Liam, since you've last been on, you now have a wife.
I'm married, yes. I went away to Wales and didn't tell any of my family and got married.
Why Wales?
Congratulations.
Because
I'd be more, why no telling any of your family would be the question.
One question at a time.
well, the family, because it's cheaper if you don't tell the family. Basically, you can save a lot of money there. So we'll
I
do
wish
that.
I'd done that.
And then Wales, because I was meant to do Cardiff Glee one weekend, and I usually
So you thought you would
In
double
the
up?
interval, we got married.
Sometimes I like to do Bristol. I don't get fucking married.
well, I was meant to fly into Bristol, but I slept in and I missed my flight. So I was like, I'm going to have to drive to Cardiff now. And then my wife was like, oh, I'll come with you and we'll bring the dog. So then we went down to Cardiff. She really liked it down there. And I think we'd either just got engaged or had been engaged for like a month or something. She was like, if we ever get married, can we get married in Wales? Because I really like it here. And I was like, aye, whatever you want. But that did cause a problem because it is illegal to get married in England or Wales if you do not count as a resident of England or Wales. So you have to be staying there for 9 days. So I had to.
To go every holiday.
Well,
Phoning up the Glee lad. Can I get next weekend? No?
so we found I was meant to sort out the registrar, and I left that till the month before, which was a mistake.
Yeah.
So they will.
Takes about 6 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Usually.
So they were like, you've got a month to sort this out, and you have to stay in England or Wales for 9 days. But this was in the middle of the fringe. So I was like, I can't. So I was looking at renting caravans in Berwick and stuff like that, and then just commuting to Edinburgh.
How would they enforce that? Like, how would they know if you're actually staying there or
Well,
not?
that's how I got around it. I committed a small act of fraud. And I found someone who worked at the stand who had a friend who owned a house in Scarborough. So then he wrote me a letter saying that I'd stayed in his house for 9 days. Then I had to drive down to Scarborough twice because they fucked up the first time, and basically hand in a letter to be like, I've been living here for 9 days, can I get married? And they were like, aye. But then,
Why 9
This is
days?
starting to sound like more hassle than just having a normal wedding.
Yeah.
it did hit a point where I was like, we fucked us massively here.
Why 9 days?
Because I think that's how long. So it's technically a week, but they don't count the day you get there and the day you put your notice in. So it
right.
adds up to 9 days, and then you're a resident of England.
Yeah, so I know. It's also weird, but you need to be a resident to live here. All right, how long do I need to be a resident for? A week. Yes, welcome along. You know.
I know
As
your mother is fine.
I don't think Nigel Farage is right about this immigration's the thing. We're a bit too loose, if you ask me. No. So it was just a wee civil ceremony then, just the two of you?
We went down to a place called Haverford West, which is a bit of a fucking dump, if I'm honest with you.
So romantic.
But it was cheap, which was the
main thing.
main theme of that wedding. So
You're living up to every stereotype they've got of a Scottish person.
well, actually, so we had to get taxis to and from the venue because we rented like a cottage, and we went down with like my two best mates for school, and then David and Iona, who worked at the stand, which is how me and Tyler met through them because they were going out and we were their pals. And then went down with them. But every taxi we would get into, they'd be like, "Why are you here?" Because they're like, "Why is Scottish people here?" Because that's a big deal for them in Wales.
Absolutely.
So then they were like, why are you doing this? And we're like, "Oh, we're getting married." And they're like, "You're getting married here?" And they're like, "Is one of you from here?" And they're like, "No." And they'd be like, "Why are you getting married here?" They were
That
just
is
so.
Oh, I did a Glee weekend a while ago. It's a long story.
It was like, "You ever been to Scarborough?"
Have you? So did you? Whereabouts is it in South Wales? North.
So it's like it kind of like the south west of Wales, so kind of at St David's, which is the smallest city in the UK.
There
There
you go.
wee bit
There
of
you go.
knowledge
There
there.
you go.
I've got family in Cardiff. I could have.
Just set me up.
Should I got the?
Even even cheaper.
Could have spent your honeymoon in their house.
Well, this is the thing. We only invited fucking 7 people to the wedding because if we invited one more person, it went up by £100. So we're like, we'll no do that. So then,
This is beautiful.
Is
That's
that a fucking funeral during COVID or something?
meal deals for the catering.
well, we did. I felt bad because we went for a meal afterwards, and I was like, right, we're going to need to split this. Guys.
I'm surprised you get the taxis and you're only like, can we just walk it in?
I did pay for the taxis, so I was like, I've
Fair
fucking
play.
done my bit here.
they're
you know,
not cheap.
so felt good about
Is it
that.
not meant to be her dad that does this?
Well, if I told her that, he would have had to come down. That would have put the budget up again. So I was like, can't fucking do that, you know. So
How did your respective families react when you
Pretty
revealed
much.
the news?
it's one of those ones where they're kind of like, oh, cool, because there's nothing they can do at that point. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the best way to do it. You know, it's better to fucking ask for forgiveness than permission.
That's true.
That's-
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's right.
So
You're not meant
You
to
had to think
ask
about
like
it.
the bride's dad for permission rather than forgiveness.
well,
That is true.
I did.
I've managed
I
it all. Will you
actually-
forgive me?
I've never heard that phrase put in the context of fucking married someone.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
Aye.
I'm already married.
Forgive me, Father, for I have married.
Aye, but got married. A lot's changed since I think.
Do you think life's different since you get married?
Not since I got married. It's fucking quite easy to be married. I don't really know what.
It's kind of the same.
Aye, it's one of those ones where you're like, aye, it's pretty fucking chill. Like everybody's quite happy. So it's
Were
like,
you just living together before you? were
yeah,
living
living
in
in sin. Aye, so it is good.
Tut tut tut.
Aye, so we live in Airdrie now, so we live in fucking racist sin.
How does that compare to your native Paisley?
It's less busy. It's a lot quieter, and there's a lot more orange lodges.
Yeah.
So, aye, so it's one of those ones where I'm like, it's fine. It's cheaper, which is
It's-
kind of my main
again,
goal in
yeah.
life.
Is Paisley quite Catholic?
I mean, it's got
Is
a
it split?
cathedral.
Feels
So,
like it's mixed, Paisley, I would
Aye.
say.
Was it?
well, I think Renfrew is kind of more the Protestant town, which is the town over.
Yeah.
Oh, aye.
But that's
I've
where I
done the
went.
Normandy.
Aye.
I've done that gig, the Normandy Hotel.
Well, that's also where you made your charity football debut.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. Was that after the last time we did it?
That was after.
We played a crazy charity football match.
I think we did speak about this before on the pod.
Because were you on it?
No,
he was
no.
meant to be, but he.
What was it?
bailed
Me,
out.
you, Roscoe, Bradshaw.
Bradshaw, aye.
I was the only one that got on the pitch.
Which I didn't know they could do at a charity
No, I
football
didn't.
game.
We kind of thought it'd be fun rolling subs and stuff.
Aye.
It was
I
like
know.
Champions League final.
Aye.
They were all taking it dead seriously and using, because they never knew you never got on, basically.
Well,
Aye.
basically, I think
I
they
was
were
lucky the left winger got injured.
Yeah, you got on because you were left-footed, and the rest of us were like, well, because I remember the manager. Yeah, I was like, it was like 5 minutes to go, and I was like, "Come on, to fuck!" And then I remember just staring at him, and he was just looking at me, and he just went like this and gave me a wee nod, and then turned around and fucking continued the game. And he was like, "What? I was meant to take him on. I've never seen him take a penalty before." And I was like, "It doesn't fucking matter."
It's for charity. There's kids with face paint.
Why
Like,
have you wasted your
Not
time
very
going along?
charitable.
Well,
the team talks were insane though, because they were like,
Aye.
boys, every time there's an attack on your goal, you treat it like there's an attack on your family. I'm like, our family don't even fucking know I'm here.
well, at least you got to fucking defend your family. I was just on
I
the
know.
sub bench, like fuck.
I didn't let any goals in for my family. That was a crazy day.
Liam, you were telling us you've done this once before, but you said is it just recently you've got back for doing another gig in Saudi Arabia?
Aye, I was there. It was when it looked like it was all going to kick off between Palestine and Israel, which was a
Right.
fucking.
Thank God that never happened.
I know. Well, I was there, and I was in Dubai airport, and my mum got taken into the hospital, and I was like, right, well, I should probably try and head back. And then they were like, well, I think it's Iraq's going to fire a missile at Israel, so you were only letting people go
Probably
further.
Iran, it would have been.
Iran, aye, one of those ones, and then they're like,
Iraq are at the game. They're on the subs bench like you at that football game now.
so they were like, they're going to fire a missile, so they're like, we really should just let you go into Saudi Arabia because that's the safest place for you, and then just let you hang out there for a bit. So then I was there the whole time being like, I don't know if I'm going to get back to Scotland here, but then I just got pissed the whole time and went to a beach. So
Is
I
that a
was
dry
like,
country? No,
it is, but there's ways around it. So
hotels and stuff.
well, no, so at the gig I was doing, it was at the British consulate, and I was paid by the British consulate, which means I never accepted any Saudi money, which is
Right.
just to say I'm
What
not.
is the
no
British
blood money.
consulate?
It's basically
Sounds like a promoter. They book gigs or something.
What is it? Is it kind
It's-
of like the embassy?
it's like the embassy. So when you go into the any consulate of in like any country, you are no longer on the land of the country you're in. You're in the land of whoever consulate it is.
Made
So-
famous in that Simpsons episode where he's in there in Australia or whatever, and he keeps stepping
Bart gets
foot
a boot
into
up the
the
ass.
US embassy, and he's like, what? Like that.
Aye. So you could drink there. They sold booze. So
The British consulate's like a Weatherspoon.
aye, basically, when you were doing the gig, you were like, "This is a fucking Weatherspoons, man." So
So is that because that's technically like British
it's British soil. It's not
soil,
Saudi
so
Arabian.
you can drink it?
Aye, you can drink there. So that's why a lot of the tickets were sold. There was a lot of people coming along because a lot of them was a lot of kind of locals. So they didn't speak much English, and obviously I'm fucking Scottish, so they didn't have a clue what I was saying. So, and I was on a tennis court as well. The show was on a tennis court.
Wow.
So,
Fuck's sake.
aye, they're all up the back of the
You
tennis
think they
court.
booked fucking Andy Murray?
Wow. So what it was as well, I was like, I don't know if you know what you've booked, but they were like, it's fine, just do it. But basically, what ended up happening was, once you went over like where the net would be, that's where like all the locals would sit.
I'm glad you said where it would be and they didn't keep it up.
I know.
Got to lob all your jokes.
That was a conversation. We're like, can we get rid of the net? And they're like, see what we can do.
It's funny when you do mad gigs in random places and like you need to say stuff like that. You're like, can we get rid of the net? And they're like, that's a really good idea.
We hadn't thought of that.
Aye. Should we stick the mic on and the lights? Oh, do you know what? That's brilliant. Aye.
Yeah,
This
sit
is why
in
you're
the-
the professional.
Sit in the umpire's chair so I can get, so I can be higher
I
up.
would fucking love to do a gig in an umpire chair.
So you half of the room, well, half of the court, fucking couldn't understand what you were saying. So I was like, they were just there for the fucking booze, and I was like, fair enough. I'm getting paid regardless. I don't give a fuck.
How long are you doing? What's
An hour.
an hour?
An hour, I'd do half an hour
Couple of
break,
sets, that.
and then mainly it was crowd work. This is what I kind of realised, because there's like a small group of Scottish people over there, and they're all mainly working in the auto trade, because Saudi Arabia has got a weird racism to it, where like a lot of the local Arabs who are like sheikhs and stuff like that, they don't want to buy cars off other Arabs. They only want to buy cars off white guys, because that's seen as like expensive thing to do, like the proper thing to do. And also they want their kids taught by white women. So there's like a weird kind of selection of teachers and like basically car salesmen who inhabit
They
Jeddah.
don't mix the fucking female teachers with the cars, because that's bad over there. Although apparently not anymore.
It's not, but the driving's really fucking bad, man. Like
Yeah.
the shit you see is like insane. Like people driving the wrong way up a fucking motorway and shit like that. You're just like, well, that's what's happening.
I was in Qatar. My sister lived in Qatar for like a year, and the fucking drivers were nuts. So it's just when you're on the road, it just beeps. I just start sea of beeps. That's all you can hear.
Aye. Well, also you see cars that are just like falling apart, and they're just driving them down the fucking motorway. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, it's still running. So like, it's mad. But then when you're doing the gig, after the gig, I basically just mainly done crowd work, because there's not a lot of Scottish people over there. So basically, if you start slagging them all off, they love it, because like, we've not heard this in like however long since they've been back, and a lot of them don't go back because there's like again a weird fucking thing that goes on. Because basically, what people were doing was they were going over and they were signing contracts to work for like a year. Then they were working for 3 months and getting all this tax-free money, and be like, it's shite here, taking like an advance and then fucking off back to Scotland.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, come and fucking get me.
Yeah.
So now they have
The Jota, that's now called.
the thing is, so see if you live in a compound, which is what most of the Scottish people and like foreign like expats live there, the compounds, basically the police can go in there, but they don't. So they're all like just brewing beer and shit like that in there. So you go to like the compounds and like fucking they've got like, there was one guy who they call the Professor, and he's basically rigged up his entire house with like stills and stuff like that. So he's making like gin, whiskey, vodka, all just out of this house in a compound. And I won't say well, because I don't want him to get fucking like beheaded, but he's doing that. He's having a great time.
When I visited my sister in Qatar, and there was like we went to a hotel where you could drink and stuff, and there's a lot of like Arab guys there who just take off their things and just like pretend that they're from somewhere else so they can go and drink. But this mad guy was talking to me, and he was like, "Oh, you're from like Britain, so you must have loads of girlfriends. How many girlfriends have you had?" And all that? And I was like, "Aye, hunters, mate. Loads of girlfriends back home." We virgin at the time, probably.
When you're over there, you do see the hypocrisy of it all, because basically it's a very strict country unless you have money, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, it's very like, my wife started watching the fucking Handmaid's Tale, and it's basically like, if you have any sort of like power and all that, like none of the rules fucking apply to you. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. So that's and it's all kind of bullshit, man. But there's a lot of good food there. That's the thing. There's a lot of like really like nice restaurants. So you're like, well, swings and roundabouts.
Do you see like, do people get fucking stoned and all that there still? Like in terms of like, there's like,
not
is that
like
what,
high, like
they
actually
get punished
with
by
stones?
getting,
Well, you
with
can
stones.
get stoned in that sense, but
Is
you
it
can
legal?
you
get.
get enough money?
Why? If you go to the fucking Professor, you get fucking stoned. The first time I was there, I mainly stayed in my hotel, and I was like, right, what is there to do? Because I was like, I didn't have really enough material that I thought would work over there and last. Because I was also at that point, I was a bit like, if I say the wrong thing here, am I going to be fucking arrested?
Yeah.
But the second time I went out, I didn't really give a fuck, because I'd done it the first time. It's like, I know what I'm dealing with now. So I was like, I can try and do like local material and just be like, oh, you've got this fucking shite roundabout and shit like that.
It's like doing a gig in Dundee.
So I was like, right, I'll go and just have a wander. But then they were like, there's nothing really about, because a lot of their cities are so new. Like, they don't really have much kind of touristy kind of stuff.
Well, is that my thing, Neom or something? And it's like, I mean,
Aye.
the idea is it's this just massive line.
Aye, well, I was talking to a guy who was building it, and he was like, it's the most like fucking stupid thing he's
it's
ever
insane.
seen. He
What
was
is it?
like,
I've not heard of it.
it's a fucking mile long city, right? It's a straight line, but every building is made of glass and mirrors, right? And it's in a desert. So basically, all the fucking light for the sun is bouncing off the road and melting the fucking road.
And rather than building a city and it's like, it's like there's a centre and everything's around it, it's just a straight road.
Right.
So if you want to get from one end to the other, it's fucking
It's like
ages.
you fucked it on SimCity.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But they think it's going to be like the 8th wonder of the world and all this. But like apparently it's already run out of money. So so I don't know if they'll keep going because it was meant to be 5 miles, but now it's down to a mile.
And so it's just basically a lot of expats.
It's a lot of expats and stuff. So I was like, what's good to do? Like, what should I go and see? And they're like, you can go to a restaurant. And I was like, I've already been to about like 5 restaurants because that's all you basically have. And then one guy was like, well, your hotel is about 10 minutes away from Chop Chop Square. And I was like, oh, what's that? And they were like, well, it's where they do like the executions and shit like that.
Jesus.
And I was like, I'll just stay in the hotel, mate. Like,
I'm assuming that's the colloquial term for it, Chop Chop Square, and not the official.
Well, I mean, I don't read Arabic, so it might be.
Right. So so people get their, do get
Hands
beheaded?
chopped?
Yeah, like that shit's like
Oh my God.
still fucking going on there and that. But what they said to me was, and this is like the weird kind of reverse racism they have, where it is like, they were like, if you get caught doing anything, so they were like, you can drink over here, and if you get caught, they're just going to send you home, because they were like, basically, you getting caught being pissed and being a fucking idiot, it becomes an international incident for them if they arrest you and they try and do anything to you.
Yeah.
So you're no worth the hassle. So all that's going to happen is you'll get caught, you'll get taken to your hotel, pack your bag and sent to the airport, and then they'll be just like, don't fucking come back.
Right.
So, but if you were a local there, then you would probably get your fucking hands cut off or something like that.
It's crazy.
Fucking
Huh?
hell.
It's mental.
Fuck's sake.
Gotta pay the rent.
Yeah. And you said you done mushrooms?
Aye, that was an accident. No. So I was in the compound.
Is that why you're back home now?
Like, don't fucking come back. So I was over there and I was in one of the compounds after I'd done the gig, having a bit like just having a sesh basically, and it was like this kind of I don't want to describe him too much because I don't want him getting into bother, but he was like Eastern European and he was like, they're very like matter of fact. So he was like, he was talking to me and he was like, oh, I have mushrooms. And I was like, oh no, I've got life insurance. And then he was like, I've got chocolate as well though. And I was like, I'll take the chocolate, man. So then we went back to his house in the compound and he gave me like, he was like, oh, it's a chocolate truffle. And then I was eating it and I was like, this tastes like shit, man. But I was like, I'm in his house.
Tastes a lot mushroomy, mate.
It's like, this is fucking rank, man. But I was like, I'm in his house, I don't want to be rude. So I was like, I finished it. And then I like went back to the party with everybody and then like fucking...
Is that not suspicious to you, no?
I just thought
Why
he
would
was...
no guy has ever offered me chocolate in my life.
Yeah. Do you want to go away for 5 minutes to have a truffle and come back?
Also,
was there a
directly
session?
after offering you mushrooms, what about chocolate? I like chocolate.
It was because one of the guys I was with when I was sound with it, he was like, I'm going to go and do the mushrooms, so I'm going with him anyway. And I was like, I'll just come with you then, and I'll just take the chocolates in that scenario. And then,
Do you like some heroin? Nah, I don't like the golden brown. I'll take golden wonder.
so we went back to like the bit where everybody was, and then that Eastern European guy was like, "Do you feel anything?" I was like, "No, mate, 'cause I just had chocolate." And he was like, "No, there was mushrooms in the chocolate." And I was like, "Oh, you fucked me here," because I had a flight.
I think that's your own fault, mate.
Aye.
I'm on
With the
his
You're
side.
coming across pretty naive in this anecdote.
Well, I was pissed as well at the time. So, and I had a flight at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and this is probably about like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, and then I started to panic because I was like, I'm going to have to go on a fucking flight in most strict country in the world and fucking I've taken illegal drugs here. So I was like, this is probably not great. So then I was like, right, I'll need to find out more about this guy to see like what type of person has drugged me here. So then I was talking to this South African guy and I was like, this is the situation. He's giving me drugs. I was like, who is this guy? Like, what am I dealing with? And then he started saying mad shit to me. with the benefit of hindsight, I was like, he was fucking with me. But at the time, I was like, oh, this is not good. Because he was like, well, you've got to question why is he giving you those drugs? Like, is he wanting you to shag his wife? And I was like, what?
That's
a
not
bit of a
not the first thing I'd come up
Aye,
with.
so then I was like, is that what they do here? Like, is this like a
Wife swapping?
swinging fucking compound, man?
There's Viagra in that chocolate.
So then I was like, right, fuck. So and then I talked to the other guy who'd taken the mushrooms, and I was like, what's going on with you? Like, how are you feeling here? And he was like, it's just kind of coming in waves and shit. So it wasn't like, I wasn't like hallucinating or anything, but like a wave, I just like, that's just class would come over me. But then that would like last for about half an hour, then it would go plummeting back down, and I was like, they're going to cut your fucking hands off. There's a lot of ups and downs with this. So then I was talking to the guy who gave me them, and I was like, look, when does this stop and what should I do here? And he was like, honestly, the best thing you can do is take another one. And I was like,
That's a great
You
idea.
need to find another guy and be like, who the fuck's this South African guy? Tell me about this guy. What's his motive?
so I was like, how do you mean? And he was like, because right now you'll know really you're kind of only got one toe in the pool. If you put your whole foot in, you'll acclimatise, you'll be fine. I was like, right, well that does make sense in a way. So,
If you want to get your whole foot chopped off, then
so I went and I took another one, and this
Another
was
chocolate.
another chocolate, but the taste of it was really bad. So I spewed it out, which was embarrassing because I was like, I spewed in this man's house, but I was like, you've drugged me, so it's
But it's even.
it's fair
It's
enough.
another swings and roundabouts.
Uh, So then I was like, right, so I stayed out till about 7 o'clock in the morning, but I had the flight at fucking 10, so I had to basically go straight from Messi. Come here. I had the flight at fucking 10, so I had to go back to the hotel, and then I had to pack my bag and go to the fucking airport. And the whole time I was in the airport, I was like, because the trip had stopped by then, it only lasted like a couple hours, but I hadn't been drinking anything. I'd just been like fucking just sat in like the sun, fucking just cooking and fucking tripping. So with the benefit of hindsight, I'm like, I had heat stroke, but like fucking I was just in the airport and like everything was like, so like if I look at my hand, I'd say like 3 hands, and I was like, well, they're gonna fucking chop all them off, aren't they? So I was like, and as I got out Jeddah airport to go on the plane to go to Dubai, they started doing drug swabs in people's bags, and I was like, well, this is fucking it, man. But luckily, I never put any of the mushrooms in my bag. I just
That's
put them
lucky.
in my mouth. So fucking got through, got back, and then had to sit in Dubai airport for like 12 hours, just being like, fucking, how have I got away with this?
wow.
Imagine you were like, no, there was no Eastern European guy at all. This is all in your head still, mate.
Dairy milk.
It was
never left Jeddah, man.
freaking out, man.
Do you think they would see if they found mushroom? Do you think they would actually would mushrooms show up? Because maybe you could just have been eating some mushrooms.
How illegal are they? Because it could be real mushrooms. Couldn't it?
I don't really. Well, he said he got sent them in the post, which again was another red flag for me.
Yeah.
But he was like, I just got them posted to me, and I was like, surely they check that, and he was like, nah, they don't give a fuck. Like,
No.
Really?
so I was like, all right, fair enough. It's because there's such like extreme consequences in Saudi Arabia. They know that they're like, you'd have to be a fucking idiot to fuck
Yeah.
around with us. So
Yeah.
that's how you can kind of get away with it.
Is
Gonna-
drug offences, is that like beheading
I think that's your hands they're going
with
for.
your hands? I thought that was stealing.
Jeez,
Well, I think they do. It's one of those. It can be a bit of a catch-all.
Right, so your
Aye.
hands for drugs, you're stealing,
I think
Bit
for
of
smack
fraud.
you'd want to get your whole arm off so you couldn't inject it.
but then for murder, I take it, then you're going to get your head chopped off.
I think the more extreme crimes, they take the head off. But I think also if you cheat, they might take your head off. I think if adultery is quite bad.
Really? Even if it's a guy? Probably not.
Well, I think it would depend how much money he's got and how powerful he is and who knows. But
Right.
Yeah.
aye,
That's nuts.
I think you get stoned actually if you commit adultery.
Until you die.
Well, aye, that's how
Stoned
that's how
to
stone works.
Just
Well, you
chuck a
can't-
few
aye,
stones at
Yeah,
you.
they don't just do it for like just to as a warning.
Just to hurt you.
Yeah.
That's
But
fucking that's
what
pure
about a
medieval,
mind
isn't it? That's the thing. It's pure medieval as fuck. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Aye, but that's the thing. It's
What about
meant to-
minor crimes though? What-
minor crimes. They just lock you up for like a really
Life.
long time. Aye, so like they'll just be like, I think for what I was getting told, like financial crime, it's pretty much like a life sentence.
Right.
But that's the same for
Like littering, for instance. What would you
I
do
think
for that?
littering, they don't really give much of a fuck about.
Really?
I was seeing a lot of people fly tipping, which I was like, fair enough, but they didn't seem to give a fuck about that because it is. It's one of those ones. It is a desert. Like there's sand fucking everywhere. So like it's one of those ones where like if you're chucking something on it, like it's just going to sit there and then eventually decay because the fucking environment's so harsh. It's just getting sandblasted all the time.
Right.
But the gigs was fun.
I wouldn't say fun, but
At least they move the net or something.
Yeah.
But you get paid £25 million. I see her anyway. See her back.
back at the Glasgow
here.
Festival.
Glasgow Festival. Doing your show you done at Fringe.
I done it at the Fringe. My best reviewed show to date.
No.
Which, there we go.
Congrats.
Thank you. This is the second show I've invited the viewers into, so that's going
It's
into
going
the.
up.
Trending
in the
up.
right way.
It's going in the right direction. So let's wait and see what happens with the third one.
Can you tell us what it's about, or do you want to keep that a secret for?
No, I tell you. Basically, I had a child when I was 21, and it's basically
How old are you now?
I'm 25 now, so she is 3.
Wow.
I think she would have just been born when the last time I was on the podcast.
Probably, innit?
So-
Not far off it,
It's
aye.
so mental to me that you always seem so much younger and so much older than me every time, because I've known you since you were a teenager, but you've
Yeah.
got so much more
I
life
know.
experience.
I know.
It's
And
crazy.
could you? When did you start doing stand up? What age were you? when you started
17
that?
when I started.
That's crazy.
I know. Aging like Doug Gills, man. Like, what a shit happens. Aye, but the show is about me when I was having my relationship with my daughter's mum, because it was a bit tumultuous. Like I broke up with her before we even knew she was pregnant, so that meant the relationship was very difficult.
Yeah.
But it's basically about the story of going through all that, and then it ends in a happy place. So that's good.
It's a happy ending.
Happy ending, everybody. Well, there was
Saudi Arabia.
And as Liam is signed for Newcastle United.
Aye, but there was a lot of people who were leaving the show crying and shit like that. So if you like emotional shit,
So
Come
is
along.
there the 40-minute emotional mark, and then you bring it
well,
back
I
round?
flipped it where I was like, I'll fucking do the emotional bit 15 minutes in, which took a lot
Right.
of time to figure out because there's a reason people don't fucking do that.
It's
Kind
a
of.
long way back to recover.
It's a lot of fucking heavy lifting after you do that.
I
so-
thought you were going to say you would do the whole show's sad, but there's a funny bit at the 40 minutes.
Yeah, there's one joke in 40 minutes.
Aye, so it's like kind of 15 minutes. That's where the sad bits happen, and then after that, it's sort of pretty plain sailing.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a great show, and it's a mad story as well. So it's great. I would highly recommend seeing it. And Liam, of course, very funny boy.
Cheers, of
Yourself.
course.
You obviously were saying that's how you got that. You did have a mad story about how you lost your virginity.
Aye, because I tell you this, and we were driving. To
So I remember I
Leeds.
used to drive you to gigs a lot, and I
Aye.
was always like, this boy needs to watch you. He's shagging about.
Because it was when we were driving down to Leeds, and I think you got a speeding.
I did
fine.
get a speed.
Aye.
I had to go and do a speed awareness course because that fucking camera at Leeds.
I've been caught on the same camera, and I was like, that's how they fucking got Jennings, man.
It's a sneaky one. It's a
Aye.
sneaky one. It's like it's a 50 road that seems like a 60.
It should be like this, aye, but they're
That's how
bastards,
they
man.
get you.
I had to do a speed awareness course.
Was
for that as
everyone
well.
on the course Scottish? Because if you go to Carlisle and it's like, because it's on the
Oh,
border, MD who's
Well-
got caught in England just goes to that one.
This is the benefit of doing one of those after COVID. You can just do it on Zoom now.
Okay.
Ah,
Aye, so because it used to be everybody had to drive to Carlisle.
was that pre-COVID?
I would have been 19. So aye, that would have been
Wow.
pre-COVID.
Yeah, because I went down and so the place they do it in was like, it was in like a wee sort of conference room next to the bar in like a Premier Inn or a Travel Lodge or whatever. So like I went to Carlisle, stopped off to do that on the way to London. I was getting the train to London. So like see it like the interval thing of the course, the wee break. I just went and got a pint because we're in a bar. And I brought the pint into the room. The guy's like, "No, you can't have that." I'm like, "I'm not fucking driving after this." It's your raging. I was like, "It's ridiculous."
They all have their wee, like you could tell, like they do a lot of them. So they all have their wee bits of patter.
patter.
Aye, and you're like this.
He kept
Got
going,
like a tight
"Look out for the
Yeah.
giraffes." That's what I remember him saying because it was anytime there was like a lamppost, they'd call them giraffes.
Fuck's sake.
And then, like, if you see giraffes,
You're not
Turn
having
your
a
engine
laugh.
off or whatever. It was like, I'll go at 50 or whatever.
We had to get
Jesus.
a talk before it because he was like, obviously you're all on Zoom, so if you need to go to the toilet, that's cool. Just stand up, go to the toilet. I'll just assume that's what's happened. What you shouldn't do is decide to take the phone into the toilet with you, sit in the toilet, and then continue the course because that's fucking minging. And he was like, it's happened a lot.
Really?
Wow.
Funny getting done for speeding and then you're on an app called Zoom.
Hey.
There you go.
There you go.
A little bit of irony, lads.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I was, because I told you that fucking story, because you were like, oh, you should put this in a fringe show, that should be the end, and then I could never get it to work.
Right.
Because
Well, that's a perfect story for a podcast.
basically what happened when I was like 14, I'd been going out with a girl who at the time I was like, she's mental, and with the benefit of hindsight, she probably wasn't mental. I was just a wee dick. So I'd gone out with her for a week. I was like, she's mental. I can't do this anymore.
How mental can you be in 1 week? That's
There's
what I
a
want.
lot.
14 as well.
Good thing it was the 2 more days so you could fucking marry her.
A lot of mad shit happened. There was a lot of lies told to me. She told me she get slashed in the head with a knife. It's like, right, you got
That's
it.
quite mental.
Aye, which is a mad phone call to get when you're fucking 14. You're like,
At
aye.
any age?
Turned out she'd actually littered in Saudi Arabia.
So I was like, oh, you got a hospital? And she was like, no, I'm going to a party. I was like, what? She was like, I've just put a bandana over it and I'm just going to go to a party. And then I've like text somebody at the party to be like, Kiel, can you watch out for her? And they were like, I really don't think she's been slashed in the head with a knife. Like, there's nothing going on here. So
I think you would get slashed in the head with a knife if you turned up to a party in Paisley wearing a bandana.
Damn it.
so. She was
Wrong
doing
colours
that.
here.
But it was a red one as well. So I'm like, that's Crips, I think. So she was in trouble
That's
there.
the Bloods, actually.
Oh, the fuck. There we go.
The
That's
red
me.
bloods, aye.
gives
Crips.
Can I
Opinion
go back
very
to Saudi? So she was doing shit like that, and I was like, aye, this is mental. And then fucking basically what happened was I broke up with her. She didn't take it well. And then we were at a house party, and she walked in, and I panicked, and I was like, I'm gonna go and hide in the kitchen. So I went in the kitchen. She followed me in there, but I was like, I need a reason to be in here. So I was just pretending to do dishes. So I was just over at the sink, like just moving shit out the sink. And she was like, you know, you've not got any water running. And I was like, aye. And she was like, what's going on here? I don't really remember what was said, but whatever it was must have been good, because then we went upstairs and we started shagging. And this is my first time, so I didn't really know what to expect there. So I was like, it was going all right in my opinion.
Did at any point during when that's happening, did you like think, I'm going to keep a lookout for this slash on her phone?
Yeah. Does she have a bandana on the whole time?
Leave the bandana on.
I was just like, this is a high pressure situation. So I was focused on that. But then she started like she was moaning, which good sign.
So I hear.
And then she was saying a name, but I was like, I don't think that is my name. So then I was like, what the fuck?
You don't think?
What was the name? Do you remember?
Well, I remember very well because it was bad. Here, come here, Messi. Good girl.
Yeah.
So she was moaning, and she was moaning the name Da. Which
that's not a name.
Aye, well, I mean,
It's a description.
it's the description. Aye, so I was like,
Or it
in
could
my
have been
head,
Dan, if you've got a
that's what I was like, maybe she's saying damn, or I was like, maybe she's saying like damn because I'm so good at this.
Yeah.
Which
She's in the Bloods.
Yeah, she likes Kendrick's album.
So I was like, right, just like trying to ignore it, and then she done it again, and it was it wasn't like daddy or like anything like it was da, and I was like, no, that was what that was.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't keep doing this because potentially she's going to tell people afterwards that this is what I'm into, and I'm not a fan of this. So I was like, right, I was like, right, I'll just be like, here, I'll try and do it in a friendly way. Like, here, don't fucking call me that.
Stop that, please.
Aye. But it was an intense situation. So what I meant to come across is like, don't fucking call me that came across as, don't you fucking call me that, which was far too much for the situation.
Yeah.
So she started crying. And I was
It's
like,
a lovely little scene. This. Rich with detail.
So romantic.
so I was like, right, this is not good. Like everything I've been taught, this is the worst situation you could be in. So I was like, I need to get out of here. So
Sex Ed 101. If they start crying,
If they're lying about slashing the head and they have a bandana and they're calling you da, get out of there.
Run away.
So I was like, right, I've got to get out of here. But I'd never taken a condom off by myself before. So
what do you mean by yourself? Who's doing it for you?
Occasionally some people would put it on, take it off for you. It was the full treatment. You know?
Well, I thought you lost your virginity. This is you losing your virginity.
I used to use it for blowjobs because I was
What?
that whole very strong approach to contraception.
You went in a really Catholic school, didn't you?
It went out the window in later years, and that's why I'm now a father.
Yes.
So
You thought you could get pregnant through the mouth?
no, I knew you could get STDs through the mouth, and I was trying to keep a clean bill of health.
Practicing safe sex.
Well, that was very safe. of
Very
you, fair play.
safe. Aye. So then so I was trying to take it off, but I didn't know how to do it. So I was just pulling at the top of it, which, if you're ever in that situation, makes it worse. It basically creates a vacuum. So you basically got
Not the kind of vacuum that would feel nice on your cock.
so it's basically like a Chinese fucking finger trap. So she's crying, I'm fucking doing that. I'm like, this is not good at all. So then I was like, trying to think about it, and I was like just like a wet sock. So I rolled it off for the bottom, got out of there. So then I was like, right,
Wet sock.
I was like, home straight now, I can get it. So I'm about to grab my clothes, but then she grabbed me by my dick, which I panicked because I was like, she's going to like cut this off or something. But she was
Go in
like,
Saudi Arabia.
and she was like, it's fine, I'll finish you off. And I was like, right, well, this is morally wrong, obviously. But I was like, is this going to make her more upset if I say no? So then I was in a conundrum there. So I was trying to think what was the best thing to do ethically. But she'd obviously been crying and quite a lot.
Back to a philosophical question.
I use the tears as lube. Or
Well, you're not particularly far off what happened there, because she'd been crying so much there'd been a lot of snortles, man.
Ah, no.
So while I'm like, this is bad, she is basically kind of sneezed and fucking snortled all over my dick.
Oh, no.
And that was the point where I was like, I've had enough now. So I was like, why the
That
fuck?
was the point.
Aye,
Sneeze is 1/4 of an orgasm, whatever they say. Like, I'll take that counts.
so I was like, why have you fucking done this to me? And then went and got my clothes. But I had shouted that. So now everybody at the house party was like, what the fuck's going on up there?
Yeah.
So then the guy whose house it was walked into his mum and dad's bedroom to see naked crying girl and me wiping my dick on his mum and dad's bed sheets. So I was not invited back.
What I enjoyed about that whole
Beautiful.
story is that the dog was crying in the background, almost like sound effects, like the radio when they put music in, and a door creak. It's like the crying woman.
It's like a lot of people who've never been in a plane before, and like, so a lot of that's like quite mental. So it's like,
So this is the flight for where?
from Dubai to Jeddah. So Jeddah, like you got Riyadh, which is the capital of Saudi Arabia, and you got Jeddah, and it's kind of like an Edinburgh Glasgow situation.
Right.
So you go to Jeddah, but like Mecca is like on the path from Dubai to Jeddah. So you got a lot of people making the pilgrimage there, but like it's a lot of people who've never like been on a flight before, because some of them are coming from like really like remote villages and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
So-
this is what they do that like once in their life, don't they? So
Yeah.
they'll go to Mecca, and is it a certain time of year they do it as well, or is it just any time of year?
For what I've seen, it seems to just be like whenever, like you
Whenever.
can make the pilgrimage like whenever you want, basically. So like they go over, but like the shit that happens on the flight from Dubai to Jeddah is like mental, like because none of them they book they're like it's all big groups, so it's like people like a group of 8 people going in this flight, but none of them have bought a ticket in the same row as each other. But then when they get in the plane, they're like, well, no, we all need to sit together with a family. So you're just watching like absolute fucking carnage take place, because it's like obviously like the way they treat women is not particularly good. But like they'll be like, so like they won't let like a female member of their family sit next to a unknown male.
Right.
So like there'll be like big fucking arguments on the plane of like just a guy standing up and be like, she's no fucking sitting next to that guy, and like going insane. So these like the fucking stewards and all that have to deal with all this going on. But like, so I got on the flight.
Fucking pay the extra £6 to sit next to them or whatever.
They just shout.
Ryanair fucking jet that.
They just-
I've got fucking Mecca away at the weekend. Fuck's sake. Bloodbath.
They just fucking shout at them till basically they're like, will you move? And I was like, I've always been like, I don't give a fuck. But it's especially edgy for me because like I will be, if I'm on that flight, I will be probably about this 1 or 2 white people on that flight. So like already like you see the other white guy and you're like, all right. So, and I've got tattoos and stuff. So like they're like, who the fuck's this? Because a lot of them are like, tattoos is against like the Islamic faith. So they're like, who the fuck is that guy? So like they are very much not wanting me to be near any of them. So like if I get into a row before anybody else, I'll get that whole row to myself. But see if I come on the plane late, which is what happened the second time, it's like fucking like chaos, trying to find a place to put me.
What
So
are the flight attendants doing in this scenario?
they're just firefighting, man, because the thing is, like, it's happening all throughout the plane. Like, there's people, like, mid-takeoff, people are getting up and going to the toilet and shit like that. They don't give a fuck. So I got there, and I was like, there's someone sat in my seat. I knew this was going to happen anyway, so I just went straight what the steward and I was like, they're sitting in my seat. I don't want to have an argument with anybody. Can you just find me an empty seat? And he was like, well, no, we've got to go over and make sure that they've not got the same ticket as you. So I'm stood behind them and they're talking in Arabic, so I didn't know what the fuck was being said, but I think basically I was getting called a cunt quite a lot. And then they were like, I could basically see them being like, no, it's not happening. So I think they were getting asked to move, and I was like, right, well, I'll just get moved further down the plane. But they were like, no, there's a seat free on the end of this aisle right next to those people who had clearly been talking shit about me. So I was like, right, brilliant. So then they go off and they're going through the plane again, and then they got to the back of the plane, and it turned out there was people who was with them who then hadn't they decided to sit at a different part of the plane in someone else's seat. So then they got moved up, and they were like, my family's there, I'm sitting there, and they were pointing at my seat again. I was like, right, so I'm going to have to fucking move. But there was like a space next to me that was free, so they were like, oh, just go and sit in there. So I went to stand up to let the woman sit down, and she was like, on you go then. I was like, what? And she was like, that's my seat. And I was like, no, it's no. So she had watched me get fucking, seen her be like, that's your seat next to him, had been like, no, I'm sitting in his seat. So I was like, am I going to have a fucking argument with this woman who did not speak great English about this? So I was like, fine, I'll fucking just move over. And then the whole flight, she was doing like mad shit, man. Like, so the fucking like steward came over to like give us our meal and that. So he bent down. As he bent down, she like burped directly in that man's face.
Fuck's sake.
I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
You don't need to be on a flight before to know you shouldn't be doing that.
Shouldn't be
Aye.
doing that. No.
But a lot of them were just like fucking like just farting and burping and shit like that. I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? And like the guy in front of me, because it's like TV screens on the back of your fucking seat. So then fucking he for some reason put his hands like you know how you put your hands in the back of your head. He done that, but around the back of my seat. So his hands were just all over my fucking screen.
So you can't see
I
the
couldn't
TV.
see. I was trying to watch. I think it was like the Fall Guy, and I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" So
Did you
I
not?
I tried to tap him. He just ignored me. I'm just be like, "Excuse me, mate, can you move your hands?" And he's just ignoring me the whole time. And then so as I'm getting off to go out the plane, people are just like shoving me like in the fucking aisle, just like fucking barging into the back of me and shit like that. I'm turning around and be like, do you fucking mind? And nobody is fucking paying attention to me
I can
at
only
all.
imagine what that bit going through security must have been like. Because at the best of times in fucking Glasgow airport, nobody knows how to take off their fucking belt or whatever.
Aye, exactly. aye.
Well, because they're going to Mecca, they're all wearing like I think they're called shrouds and stuff like that. It's like basically like it's like big kind of wrappings and stuff like that. But it's like the only way to describe it kind of looks like a sheet almost, like, and they kind of drape it around themselves and stuff like that. But But there's like guys getting on the plane in tracksuits, but then because they want to wear their shrouds before you go over Mecca. So like we've been in the air 10 minutes, and there's guys just like stripping in the fucking aisles and putting these fucking shrouds
Bobby,
on. Aye, like it's all just there.
Jesus Christ.
So it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
That's nuts.
That's like, you think when you get on a plane sometimes and there's like a stag do going to Mallorca or whatever, you think this has got to be the wildest plane you can get on. Turns out, not exactly.
Aye, it's fucking mental. But I don't know if I'm going back. I told him to get someone else. I told him to get Mark Nelson next year.
Right, there you go. Good luck, Mark.
Would you do it? Would you do a gig out there?
No, for morally, I would not, and I have to say, I do not endorse.
If they offered you $2,000,
$2,000? No,
$2,000 flights paid for accommodation.
no, I'm afraid
10 grand.
not.
no?
No. I know that Ben Salmon's get more than that in the bank.
You're technically not paid by him, though. You're paid by the British.
By Weatherspoons.
Yeah, they take his bloody blood money.
We need to take Weatherspoon's blood money. Either.
It is fun. I suppose that's the thing, because like when they have all the boxing matches and stuff there now, and it's, I don't know, it leaves a bad taste in the mouth, because it's like, it just seems like it's pure, like it's just kind of corrupt. But then I suppose, is it any more corrupt than like Las Vegas or whatever? And then like, because you think about, like, see boxing on like a local level, see whenever there's like a local boxing, it's always ran by like the local gangsters. So really, that's just that on like a worldwide scale, isn't it? It's like weird.
Everyone's corrupt.
Aye. Well, they don't.
The world's a fucked up place.
But you don't pay any tax over there. So there's shit like that. So
How do they pay for shit? Just with
So
oil?
much oil,
yeah,
I
so
guess,
the state does all the oil operations, so they make all the money off of that. And
So that's no privatised. or
yeah,
anything, is it?
and like, so a lot of the people are stuck there in a way, because like, so if your employer is like, they control your visa. So if you decide at any point like, oh, I want to leave, and you're on like a 12 months contract and they've not approved your leave, you could turn up at the airport and be like, I want to get on a flight to Glasgow, and they're like, your employer has not approved you to leave, so go back to your house. So like, there's a couple of people you're kind of like, this is, the money might be good, but you're in a fucking fucked up situation.
It's a nice vision of the future that we're all going to have, when the only rich people are in these compound things and everybody else is fucked and getting stoned to death and not allowed to leave the country unless their employer says so. This is a nice free market future that we can all look
A
forward
way
to.
out of it, you've got to be a fucking jester on a tennis court, and then they want
Get respect.
Entertaining the court, but just a different one than back in the olden days.
Liam, are you doing another Fringe show this year?
I've not written any of it, so
Of course not.
aye. But my plan is to try and write it like an album, so I have bits and be like, right, well, this is like the single, this is like the ballad, like, and just try and do it like that.
And instead of having a skit and rap albums, you just have a song.
It's a wee song.
So I'm trying. That's my plan for it, but I'll probably try that and be like, this is fucking terrible, and get up. So
Yeah, that's what happens in it.
I'm like, I always like, I'll try and do a theme, and then like immediately you're like, this is a shit theme, and then you just try and just write some fucking jokes, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's so. You obviously you got married as you've explained, and like, so just gigging away and keeping the stand up going.
Aye, that's all I do. Basically, I'm thinking about writing a fucking book, man.
Really?
Aye, because I get really fucking bored when I go like away. If I'm down in Cardiff or something, you just end up sitting in your hotel and watching the football. So then I get really fucking bored. But like when my wife comes with us, she loves going to like farms and stuff like that. So like been going to a bunch of fucking farms lately.
To do what?
Like feed lambs and shit, man.
Have you ever done alpacas?
I've fed alpacas, aye.
How did you get on with it? Because I've done that recently, and
They're quite gentle, I found. They're
Well,
very
I
like.
did
You had a
find
bad
that.
experience,
You did
Jen.
not.
mines kept jumping up on me, and the instructor was like, "I've never seen that happen. I don't know why that's happening."
Yeah, it sounds
That's
like
bad.
what were
Felt
you wearing?
threatened by
I
you.
got I think it was just two alpha males. You put two
Aye.
alpha males together.
Yeah.
It's something gonna happen.
stags with an alpaca.
Yeah, no, but I had to get it taken off me and walk back without one.
Was
and
it trying to like shag you?
No, I was just kept. It was kind of going off. It's not, and then but it was like kids and all that had them, and it was fine. And I was just,
Yeah.
I was the only one that like had to get mine back to the instructor.
I've whenever I've fed an alpaca, it's always been very like gentle.
Well, you're obviously you're an animal
I'm an
guy.
animal
As
man,
they've described, dog here.
Aye.
And so, what other shit do you do on farms?
So you feed the goats, you feed the. I've got to go through the fucking.
Is that so? You just go and feed the animals? Is that
Aye,
it?
you just go about and like my wife fucking loves that shit, man. So she's jumping about the place having a great time, and I'm just fucking like, aye, there's some food.
I could not imagine developing like a real interest in like insisting on having to go and do that kind of stuff.
Well, it's either
Sort of
that, or I'm like, we can sit in the hotel and watch the St. Mirren game on the iPad. She's like, let's go to a farm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But she loves it, man, because she's desperate to bottle feed a lamb. That's like the fucking
dream.
goal.
Yeah.
Aye, but there's wee lambs that we were at the last one, and they didn't seem particularly fucking interested in anybody. Like they just very much wanted to stick to their maw. And I was like, that's probably the way it should be.
Aye.
But
That's
Do
natural.
you think that comes out? Is that something like? Has she seen that on her Instagram algorithm, and then it's influencing her? Because that seems like a rather niche desire.
I think so. We started going to farms because we had 4 guinea pigs. They now live with her cousin because they've got a bigger house than us. So it's like, aye, they've moved up in the world. So
I'm moving to Airdrie.
So basically, I think she was like, "Oh, like I'm missing the guinea pigs when we're away." So then she was like, because a lot of the farms have fucking guinea pigs and shit in them. So we were going down and seeing the guinea pigs, and then you started seeing like the lambs and stuff as it gets to like summer and shit. And she was like fucking in love with these lambs, man. Because they just like do mad shit. They just like jump off the place, like they jump on their mum's backs and shit like that. And she was like, "I love this." And then they were like, "Oh, if you come back like next week, we're starting bottling feeding them." And then she was like, "Oh, can we come back next week?" And I was like, "Well, no, because I'm in Newcastle." So
Yeah.
she's never really forgiven us for that. So I need to work out a plan of trying to find a place that'll let me do it
Yeah.
and do a gig near it
It's
because tax write off.
Oh. Yeah, good idea.
interesting. I don't think it
It was
can be
creatively important that I fed that lamb.
If you had a big wedding down in Wales and you done the Glee that weekend, could that have been a tax write off?
I think it could be. It's
you go.
accommodation.
I don't know if they're getting away with that.
So if we put our speeches from my wedding on Patreon, maybe I could write the entire
So I'm still waiting on the footage.
and
Well,
the
it's a
entire
gig.
As
wedding.
are all the patrons.
It's a gig at that point. isn't it?
Exactly. I could.
It's
I could
promotion.
fucking.
Well, we should be doing that anyway, so send us it over and then.
Jack, would that actually work? Because
Well, we want you to pay for
I've
it.
got a lot of expenses that I would like to. I'd like to write.
I'm still waiting on my fee for it, to be honest. But
It was for exposure, lads.
that's the thing, though, because like, I was thinking this the other day, like, because do you ever get that with your respective partners? Like, because I feel like this is a thing that guys wouldn't do as much, but there's like, do you ever get them going, "Oh, I'm going to surprise you, we're going to do this thing at the weekend"?
Yeah, that only I like.
Aye, and you're
Yeah.
as a guy, you're never like, "Oh, brilliant, I can't wait." It's like, "Oh, fuck, what's this going to be?"
Puppy yoga.
Exactly. But I don't think we would get away with it. See if you went, we're going to do something on Sunday.
Take you to the football hen.
Aye. I mean, maybe you would. Maybe they'd quite
I
enjoy
have
it.
done that. I took Tyler to St. Mirren hospitality for her birthday.
That's quite good.
It was for St. Mirren v Dundee. She's fae Dundee, so I was like, you get those guys. So
What'd you get in the hospitality at St Mirren?
you get basically a roast dinner and free booze.
Nice.
That's it, and then you get a seat with a cushion on it.
Nice.
Aye, but I think we
good.
lost that game, so I was like,
Well,
shite.
at least you get your meal.
Aye, I've took my Wayne to the football as well. Because they have the Paisley Panda, and that's the mascot. That was what she was interested in. Like the whole second half, she was like, "When's the panda coming back?"
Yeah, I think that's you need to just keep. It makes sense to have the mascot into because that's something to keep.
Trying to bottle feed the Paisley Panda.
Yeah. They're not understanding the intricacies of getting into the top 6 of the SPFL.
Aye.
That
Was
was
she?
the first ever game I went to was St Mirren.
All right, St. Mirren.
Wraith Rovers.
All right.
And they won 5-1.
Is that your rivals?
Yeah.
Wraith Rovers?
The fun one.
Yeah. That's it, man.
Fair.
They were like, I think they were trying to get up.
Promote it. Aye.
And they won 5-1. There was a guy who had blonde hair and he looked like David Beckham. and I thought it was David Beckham because there's a wee guy.
I think that would have been.
How old are you then?
Must have been about 8 or something.
I think that would have been Ricky Gillis.
Maybe.
There you go.
He
That's some good knowledge right there.
There you
This
go.
is I have like you know how you do those football tic-tac-toe things.
Uh-huh.
I've been fucking smashing them, and I'm like, but now my knowledge because I don't watch English football as much anymore. My knowledge is fucking like plummeting. I mean, that's like fucking roasted, man. But then I'm like, I fucking know a Uruguayan that's played for Chelsea, Gus Poyet.
You're watching the Beckham documentary, like, this guy looks a lot like Ricky Gillis.
I'm gonna type him in, Ricky Gillis.
see if it's him.
I think he. This might be alleged. I think he stopped playing for St Mirren because he had a drug problem.
There he is, golden balls.
Isn't
Potentially.
it? Golden Boss.
When? What? Do you know what year he would have played?
He would have played about. It
Oh,
would
I've
have
got
been-
it
Maybe somebody gave him some chocolate that was
Yeah,
laced with
like-
mushrooms.
Yeah, he
5
got some
years, to be
chicken-
fair.
Well,
chocolate.
yeah, from 1992 to 97, and that. Well, yeah, it would have
He
been
came
6.
back as well. He had a second spell.
Then
so-
aye, well, he did actually here, from 2000 to 2005. That would have been more likely
Aye.
actually.
Where was he in between?
I'm sure he scored like a hat trick.
But that does sound like Ricky Gillis.
Aye, there you go.
But my daughter, one of the players scored a header, and it was Olasanya. He's been fucking good for St Mirren this season. And I was like, so we're going nuts. Then I sat down, and my daughter was like, "That's a shame." And I was like, "Oh, how?" And she was like, "He's hit his head." And I was like, "No." He was like, but he was meant to do it. It was all part of it. She's like, "No." And I was
No.
like, "She's ahead of the game." She's
Aye.
thinking,
Yeah, that's it.
She is.
CTE and concussions.
Yeah.
They're trying to get rid of the headers for the
Aye.
football. So in a way,
Exactly.
she's forward thinking
Yeah.
in that regard. It is a funny thing though, isn't it? Because it's like you just think kids. You go, I'm going to subject you to fucking support the same team and go through all the same heartbreak and terrible stuff that I do. You will fucking grow up with that.
That's it, because mum's, I think, vaguely a Rangers supporter, so I'm like, let's no fucking go down that dark path.
Let's stay away from the old firm. Let's a
Aye.
good,
I'm
good
like,
local team.
you'll know
St
when it
Mirren
be.
or
it's-
Airdrie, you could.
What about Airdrie United?
Well, fucking yes. Airdrie, man. Fucking they make Airdrie great again.
What's the name of their part? Is it Capillo? Is that the name
That's
of their part?
Morton. That's our rivals.
Oh, is it?
Aye.
Oh,
And
thanks,
they've just lost their roof in the storm.
I did see that
Aye.
actually. I know.
Fucking get it right now.
Morton roll bastards.
Hate Morton.
Do you call them any like
Yes,
derogatory
aye.
terms?
They get called soap dodgers.
Aye.
Which is
It's a
basically.
classic.
Yeah, we say that as well.
Aye.
I thought it would have been based around the roll.
There is a song, but it's like if I had the
Yeah,
wings.
fucking flowery bap or something.
What, the rolls? Because Martin's
Martin's
rolls.
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 Aye.
I don't think they're for Greenock though, are they?
No, they're
Aye.
owned by the Sweetie company Millions.
Morton's rolls?
No, the Morton football team.
All right. No, but Greenock is it not Martin's rolls?
I
No?
don't know.
I think it's
if
just
that's
the surname of the people who do Martin's rolls is Martin.
I'm sure
It's
the
not 'cause they're-
factories
they're
out that way.
Greenock Martin's rolls.
I'm sure the factories out that way, no?
The merch for the team.
I'm good with it.
but
I mean, it would be a good. I would actually think about it. It would be a good sponsorship. I'd be amazed if that's not happened.
aye, but they're a fucking shite team, man. Aye.
Oh,
Are they?
Syndrome Chapel.
Oh,
There you go.
Aye, you know, aye, that's right. It's down the road. Aye.
All right.
There you go.
Just thought it was Greenock.
Actually, they could sponsor us, maybe.
are you sponsored by Iron Brew?
No,
No,
the
no,
famous-
no yet.
We are getting sponsors though soon, and we
Yeah.
are. This is an interesting thing with the listeners because I was thinking about putting up something on social media. Somebody said to me, "Oh, don't put a thing on social media asking for sponsors," but we do mention it on a lot of episodes, so our listeners know we'd like sponsors. Because as much as I know they're a bit annoying the ads sometimes. We need to make fucking money off of this.
Well, I have
Doing
an
cold
issue.
reads for Saudi Arabia.
Listen, I've got a connection. It's called
Guys, would you like to come to the 2032 World Cup? Well, I mean that's we've all got a price, so
Because I've got an issue with Iron Brew. Because I fucking won a competition, and it was meant to be free Iron Brew for a year, tickets to the Jonas Brothers hospitality, and it was free.
Wonder if they do your roast.
Well, I went. It was very good actually, the food. But it was what I always was. You're in this wee kind of box at the Hydro when you're in hospitality, and it is quite good. But like I don't listen to the fucking Jonas Brothers, right? But Tyler was mad for them, and she massively downplayed how much she liked them. She was like, I know a couple of songs the whole time. She's fucking singing along to everything, and I was
You're just waiting for the panda to come out.
I
at
like-
halftime.
But I was like, I'm just gonna sit down, and I was checking like football results and stuff like that. And then I went to the toilet, and Tyler was like, "See, when you were away, one of the girls asked me what your fucking problem was."
And the answer is the Jonas Brothers. But I don't think that's necessarily on Iron Brew, Liam.
Well, they never sent me my Iron Brew. I've been down a year's worth of Iron Brew for a year now.
Maybe
Oh,
contact.
they can sort that out,
yeah,
surely.
contact
I
them.
think we could.
Say I'm still waiting on it.
It's one of those ones. I was like, I've had my Jonas Brothers now.
You've had your fill.
Yeah, well, that's a shame. But you know, Jonas Brothers. Good. Have you ever been to hospitality for like a concert at the Hydro or anything like that?
No.
No.
It is, if you can get, it's expensive as fuck. It's because you need to buy it's like a box. You need to buy it for the
Are you
year.
stuck like behind glass and stuff?
So there is a bit of glass, but it's like it's just like a kind of wall thing, and then like you're basically like where the people are standing, you'd basically be standing on top of their fucking shoulders, so you can see everything, and you're just up the back.
I always wonder that for comedy gigs at the Hydro, like, because if you're in that box, can you just like talk through it and like nobody can hear you?
Well, no, they could hear you, but in the Hydro, everybody, like, I've seen comedy in the Hydro, and it's always fucking shite because everybody's just talking anyway, and it's like
It's such a big room.
yeah,
that
it's not. There's no way to police it, so you're like,
No.
alright.
Aye. It's not good.
Anyway, you're not doing the Hydro Liam, just
No,
yet.
I'm doing Oranmore,
You'll be on more. What date?
the 30th of March at 6 p.m.
There you go.
Go and see him.
Recommend.
Recommend.
Flipbook.
Flipbook, that's what it's called.
And
right?
potentially you could be you and Messi here.
Aye.
Could also be appearing at what show?
Yeah, let's plug the dog
What's
show.
this Doug show?
Crufts Live.
They've not even told me the name of the show. They were just like, bring your dog to a show. So
Yeah.
I'm like, potentially there's not even a fucking show. They're
The, com-
just
the
bored.
comedy crush
Sounds
show.
like a PR, like a photo opportunity, doesn't it?
I
like
think
they've
it
tricked you.
basically is.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And
But
it's smart.
I don't think she'll sit about for photos and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, but see when you get, because Messi's a girl, right? But see when you get a female dog, no one tells you how many other male dogs are going to try and pump your dog. And it gets really fucking like upsetting. I feel like just leave her alone. She's just enjoying herself.
Men are trash.
That's it. And that's just with a dog.
I know.
I know.
I'm like, fuck's sake, she's just having a nice time. You try to pump her.
It's funny how that's the way the guys understand how shite it is to be a woman. So it is to
Have a
go,
dog.
oh my god, my dog, can't take my dog anywhere. these creeps after him all the time. Yeah, that's kind of what it was. Anyway, right, we'll go and see Liam.
Yes.
30th of March, Glasgow
Recommend.
Comedy Festival, or more. Very funny comic. Check him out. Anything else to plug, Liam, before we go?
Doing the Fringe at the Stand. I've not got a name, but I think I've got a time. So it'll be.
You
out
do
on
have a name.
Instagram.
It's Liam Whitney. It's not Da. It's Liam Whitney. Liam Whitney.
Wow.
It's Liam Whitney.
Wow.
You know, like,
Getting the guest
Say it.
name wrong twice.
Liam
go and see
Farrelly.
Liam as well. You go and see the Liams.
Aye.
You know. That was
Aye,
good because
but-
that was a callback to something earlier, but I fucked it. Liam Farrelly. Go and see him at the Stand.
Aye, at the Fringe. I'll
In
have
August.
something on Instagram about it.
Excellent. Right. Well, thank you so much for joining
Cheers
us,
for
mate.
joining
Liam.
us, man.
Cheers.
Before we go as well, we've all got shows at Glasgow Comedy Festival in March. Stuart's on tour in the spring. I'm on tour in the summer. Sign up to Patreon, and obviously, as ever, you can remember. Please remember to like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and you can follow us. Did I say that? Have I just said that?
You're losing it, bro.
You're
losing
Doesn't
it.
matter. They know. They
Do you want
get
me
it.
to
You
take
get
over?
it. Go on.
Don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Spotify, and please tell your friends to watch and listen, and also get us on Patreon.
Yeah. And get us some sponsors and give Liam his Iron Brew as well.
Yeah.
Get
Get
sorted.
on that.
See us on tour, see Liam's show, see me,
See you later.
go and see Messi's show. All the best.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy the rest of the week. Thanks a lot for
Bye-bye.
listening.
See you
Speak to
later.
Liam.
Bye bye.
Yeah.